Oh no, come on! I spent how much money for this? To engage in any hobby, whether you're going fishing, skiing, or building replica planes in your basement, you're gonna need to invest money into it. So today's magic moment is a cautionary tale about the relationship between your money and the hobbies you indulge in. For Magic the Gathering, that money is most typically spent on the thing that makes the game work, the cards themselves. Magic has now existed for over 25 years. Tens of thousands of cards have been created, and some of them are more rare, valuable, and powerful than others. As a result, they cost more money. And when you bring money into a game like this, you also create an open space for people to treat it like it's its own stock market. In fact, there's an entire side industry to the game that's built around the finances of cards. I mean, just taking a cursory glance at any of these Magic Finance websites, you could easily mistake it for a snapshot of our real stock exchange. And this exuberant feeling of, wow, I'm holding onto a card that's worth a ton of money, is pretty easy to understand for anyone, young or old, new or veteran. You can crack open a $3 booster pack of cards from a store and potentially walk away with a card worth upwards of hundreds of dollars in certain cases. And let's say the card isn't worth that much. Well, there are constantly times when cards are spiking in prices, whether they're the new hotness in the most played formats, or people suddenly realize that they're more valuable than they thought. Or maybe some schmuck decides it's high time to do a buyout of all of the available copies of something on the reserved list, a special catalog of cards that Wizards of the Coast promised would never be reprinted. When it comes to the big, splashy, expensive cards, we hear about them because they're usually pretty big news stories. Whether it's someone cracking open a Black Lotus on their YouTube channel, or it's selling for $166,000 at a 2019 auction, and just recently, it broke the $500,000 mark for a copy signed by the late artist Christopher Rush. Coming out of the GameStop Stonk saga, say that 5 times fast. GameStop Stonk Saga, GameStop Stonk Saga, GameStop Stomp Saga. We've seen that your everyday enthusiast has the very real ability to manipulate and change the price of stocks. And the same thing happens in Magic quite often, and there's no real regulatory group to keep an eye on things. Information also becomes an extremely powerful tool, as documented in this 2019 Wired article, where an investor's advanced knowledge of a new format that was going to be announced would have significant ramifications on the price of cards that maybe players weren't looking at as closely. So where does this leave your regular, well, I just want to enjoy the game type players? Well, it's tough. The market for physical Magic the Gathering cards is not really a protected realm by any means once the cards are opened and put into stores. Card prices can spike in the blink of an eye, and that makes it so much harder for players to just jump into more serious play. It also might make it seem like it's more intimidating and difficult to enjoy when you don't have this massive budget. Because Magic is a game that has a very interesting problem to me. Players that have the ability to invest more freely in cards where money is not as large of an issue are simply granted more access to play the game at deeper competitive levels. Other players are going to be more restricted by their budget. Now, both groups of people can play the same game, but it's not going to be the same. On the flip side, that is the nature of so many other hobbies in the tabletop and physical worlds. You can go skiing on 2 planks of wood with some tape strapped around your boots like a total crazy person, and you can also do so with expensive equipment. Both experiences are technically skiing, but one person is able to do so at a much higher level. The real question I'll leave you with is this. When it comes to Magic, can we actually say with absolute certainty that the more money you have, the more you will enjoy the game? Seeing as statistically, the massive majority of Magic players are casual kitchen table enthusiasts who don't pay any attention to the competitive or financial sides, I don't think so. Now, speaking of money, I recently spent some of it and got a Secret Lair in the mail, which is a special release of cards from Wizards of the Coast that groups existing cards, for the most part, into collectible sets with new art, special foil editions, and so on. They're only available for a limited time, but almost anyone can purchase them. I recorded myself opening up the most recent edition, but the footage and audio was janky. I was planning on reshooting it, but when I went back to look at the cards today, oh no, come on, I spent how much money for this? $60 to be exact. Now, this was a special charity version, so half of that did go to Extra Life, which is absolutely deserving of the donation. But you're telling me that a $60 premium collector's product is warped out of the box, and if you don't protect it right, it's just gonna get worse every day? Doesn't feel great. Let's get one thing straight. Printing cards should be this company's bread and butter. And if you're gonna charge an arm and a leg for these products, then, well, I feel bad for anyone who wants to collect them all. Because in the years since they've been introduced, there have been 33 Secret Lairs released. That's almost 3 of these a month. And if you bought one copy of all of them, that's well over $1,000. You know, instead, you should just try and win these Commander Precons I have for free. Costs you nothing. Seems like a much better deal. So this week's giveaway is pretty simple. Just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you've given a thumbs up to this video, and just find any other video on the channel that looks interesting, watch it, give it a like as well. And you want to be subscribed to this channel because next week we're going to look again at these cards and see if they've warped any more since recording it. Okay, let's move on to the most important part of this video. Real, honest advice that I think you should hear if you want to play Magic the Gathering. Dear viewers, hobbyists, and enthusiasts, you do not need to buy anything. Ever. Literally, you never have to buy a single thing in this hobby if you do not want to. Unless you're like planning on eating the Magic cards for sustenance. I don't know, just go get a banana instead. There are so many logical fallacies when it comes to why we invest in Magic cards. The argument of, oh yeah, I made like 200 bucks because I got this card before it spiked, is one that I hear and say myself. But at the end of the day, that money is completely fictional unless I go about actually selling that new expensive card. And to be totally honest, can you guess how many cards I've actually taken the time to sell in the past 5 years of playing? 0. Don't overinflate what you have and think that buying Magic cards is the same as getting a real dollar bill in the mail. Instead, if you want to invest in this game, give yourself a reasonable budget based on your income and what you can afford. Make sure you're buying cards because you love to play with them or collect them, not because they're exclusive or hard to get or might be more expensive in the future. You need to do things out of a love for it, not out of a fear that you're gonna miss out in some way. Because if you don't want to actually spend money for cards, then there are tons of ways to get around it and make it cheaper. You can look into trading up your old cards you don't use anymore. Maybe you can go to your local game store and turn them in for some store credit. Be smart about how you invest and play this game. Don't get burnt out trying to collect every single thing the moment it releases. I've tried it. It's not possible, or fun, or rewarding. Don't do it. Look, the reason I love Magic is because it's a game I've gone to play my entire life. I slowly collect the cards that I need when I need them, and if I can trade for them without spending a single dollar, I'll opt for that every time. Make the game work for you, not the other way around. Finally, I highly encourage everyone out there to read the article that outlines Magic's official stance on proxy cards, as well as the Rule 0 philosophy that the most popular format Commander has. Don't forget that the majority of players who play this game are the most casual ones around. They're slamming down cards on the kitchen table with their loved ones, teaching their kids how to battle with fantastical creatures, and playing the game for the love of it, not the necessity. Apply this mentality to as many parts of your life as you want, and I think you'll start seeing the benefits of it almost immediately. Okay, now I know you've stuck around because you want to see who won the swag bag. Let's go. Inside this Kaldheim swag bag, we've got lots of fun stuff. We have a sweet t-shirt. There are also some collector's items. You got this tape thing from Kaldheim as well as this lanyard. And of course, no giveaway is complete without some boosties. I'm putting in 3 of these Kaldheim set boosters. There is a foil in every pack as well as an art card. And so it's time to pick the winner. It was a randomly selected comment and it's gonna be this one. Congratulations, if you see your name, send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram and I'll mail this swag bag out to you. And if you missed the news on how to win these sweet Commander Precons, there are gonna be 2 winners this time, by the way, because I got 2 things. You're gonna have to scroll back in the video and find out how. All right, Magic and finances. There is so much to discuss here. We barely scratched the surface, but I hope this served as a good primer to you all and a cautionary tale with some good advice. If there's something that you think I should cover in the future in this wide world of Magic and hobbies, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time. Hey you, that's right you. Thanks for tuning in. Check out more great moments from the download on our YouTube at Watch VENN, and you can watch the full episode and catch up on VENN.tv. I'll see you there.